guys, welcome to my channel, Amongst Outs. My name is Samantha, and if you're new here, I am a new homeschooling mom of 4 kids. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about how I am homeschooling multiple kids in multiple grades in my homeschool. And so, like I said, if you are new here, I am a first-time homeschooling mom. I pulled my kids out of public school last school year, midway through the year. So we only had half of a year and we did mostly deschooling. So this is our first full year, and I wanted to say that because I am no pro, but I just wanted to let you guys know, as a first-time homeschooling mom, how am I making this work for me as the teacher of a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, 6-year-old with a toddler in tow. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And as always, I have my handy dandy notebook here to keep me on track. So my first tip on how to make homeschooling easier for you as the teacher and parent of multiple kids is to combine subjects, but to teach to the level of your oldest child. So this would be where you could do your sciences, your socials, your histories, and combine all of your kids together and teach them to the highest level. So for me, that would be teaching to my 10-year-old who is a 5th grader. And then my 8-year-old can participate, as well as my 6-year-old, and just making sure to teach to the highest level and then bringing it down to their level when it pertains to like activities. And so Gather on Homeschool is a really, really great option that you can choose to use as a standalone curriculum or as a supplement if you are teaching to multiple kids of different grade levels in your homeschool, because you are reading out of just your teacher's guide, and then all of the student notebooks are for each individual level. So they have high school, middle school, upper elementary, early elementary, and they also do have a pre-reader option, which is going to be little activities and coloring pages that match the unit. But you could also do either their preschool program or their kindergarten program, but again, you'll still be reading to all of your kids at once. And then number 2, and this is one that I am implementing into my homeschool now, because things were a little bit rough for me in the first 6 weeks of our homeschool year so far. And so this tip is: use older kids to read instructions to your younger siblings when necessary. And this is really important because if you have a toddler in tow, there are times whenever they are just your neediest child. And so whether they need a snack, they need a drink, they need a diaper change, or they need to go to the potty, or you need to get them down for nap time, there are going to be times to where you're not fully available to all of your kids. And so being able to rely on your older kids to help you out with reading some of those instructions to your younger kids is going to be incredibly beneficial to you in helping the flow of your homeschool still work even when you are not available at the moment. Okay, so tip number 3 would be to stagger your kids' schedules and subjects in a way that you are available to their neediest subject at once. And so what I mean by that, because it's a little bit tricky, and so what I mean by that is making sure that you're only available to one kid during their hardest subject at a time. So this is where, for me, busy work and open and go curriculum is really, really critical. I still want my kids to be engaged in doing something. Otherwise, I don't know about you, but when my kids don't have anything to do, they're going to be getting themselves in trouble if I am not out here or if I'm not available to them. So by adding in some busy work and then open and go curriculum, that keeps all of my kids engaged at once, but only me available to one at a time. So this would be, I always do math one-on-one with my 6-year-old first, and then my other 2 will do something else that's open and go, where they can read the instructions and just do it and need nothing to little out of me to get that subject done. And so this is also really important if you have a toddler, because when you're putting them down for nap, you want your kids to be able to follow their flow without needing to ask you any questions, but to also know what they're doing. And so tip number 4 kind of goes along with that, and that is use online curriculum to your advantage. Wherever you can plug in your kids online so that they're one, being taught the lesson, completing the lesson, and then the lesson's graded for you, use that to your advantage. And this is, for me, this is where teaching textbooks comes into play. At first, all of my kids were doing book math, and so I was having to teach a lesson to each one of my kids staggered. But now I'm only having to do that with my 6-year-old because my 8-year-old and my 10-year-old are doing their lesson on the computer at different times. So I know that there are a few companies who offer online courses outside of teaching textbooks that where you can do like math, history, English, almost any course that you can think of online. If you have the means to do it, I would 100% encourage you using online curriculum to help you out a little bit. And number 5 is really important, especially if you are teaching to younger kiddos. So these are going to be your kindergartners, your first graders, your second graders. And this is to give breaks frequently to keep distractions minimal. It is really hard, guys, for kids to sit there and just do subject after subject after subject. So wherever you can throw in those breaks in their schedule, whether it be after each subject or after a subject here and there, if your kid has a longer day, just throw in as many breaks as you can so that they're not as distracted. And also, if you're keeping your kids' day short, like most people, likely if you have a kindergartner, you're not doing 5 hours of schoolwork. But even still, even if they're doing 2 hours of work and it's book work, I would highly recommend giving as many breaks as often. Tip number 6 is, I personally wouldn't recommend scheduling your kids out in time blocks, but rather giving them a flow that they can follow and then using a system like a workbox, or we have plastic containers upstairs where all of my kids' books are. So if I'm in the bedroom with my 2-year-old putting him down for nap, my kids all have their schedule flow on the front of their work binder, and then all of the books that they need for every single day are all contained in a workbox. And so this makes it really easy for my kids to go from subject to subject to subject without needing to ask me what's next or ask me for further instruction. And they also know if they finish a subject, they can go and have a break if they need it before they move on to the next one. So as long as you set up those expectations up front with your kids on what they can and can't do in regards to their schedule flow, that will keep them on task more likely than not. Okay, and number 7, and this one is huge for me, is use your toddler's nap time to your advantage. If you are like me and you are homeschooling big kids, but you still have a toddler or a baby in tow, use that nap time to your advantage. I schedule my 2-year-old's nap time to be during the time where my kids are doing their individual subjects. And this is for a purpose, on purpose, because they can knock out those independent subjects while he is sleeping fairly quickly. But when he's up and he's being chaotic and he's running all over the place, they are just so distracted by him, and it's really hard. Do the bulk of your independent work or teaching or whatever it is that you need to do during your toddler or baby's nap time. And then number 8, and this is one that has been really helpful to me, to try to minimize the amount of distractions that my toddler causes when he has woken up earlier from his nap or wouldn't go down for a nap and he's out during independent time. And also during our morning time when we're all together at the breakfast table, is to use busy bins. You can either buy pre-made toddler busy bins or you can make them yourself, but use busy bins to keep your toddler busy, but also occupied. Like, keep him occupied and busy so that, or she, I'm saying he because I have a he, but keep your toddler busy and occupied so that they are less likely to go and mess around and distract the big kids that need to get work done. And so there you have it, guys. Those are my tips. These are the ideas that I am implementing in my homeschool, and I hope that these are some tips that you can take and implement into your homeschool, and that they help you homeschool multiple ages more effectively and keep your homeschool flow running smoothly. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you guys here as a part of my community. Bye!